Okay, so thanks everyone for coming. Today we will have Professor Lawrence Udeigwe from Manhattan College. He's
Yeah.
going to talk about ODEs for the general public. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. All right. Thank you for having me today. Title of my talk, as we go, we'll realize or we'll all see why the title is ODEs for the general public. So the summary of my talk is as follows. I had students do a final project in an ODEs course. And the final project is to design a talk for the general public, to educate the general public on the importance of ODEs or the use of ODEs. So it's like a challenge. I'm going to talk about what the experience was like from the perspective of the instructor. And I'm going to talk about how we can use these avenues to frame ethical reasoning in mathematics. I did this because I've given a version of this talk last year, and I didn't go too deep into the ethics part, but something that I've become interested in lately is how to frame ethical thinking in mathematics and STEM in general. Sometimes that is what we totally ignore because of the nature of our discipline. Our discipline is, some people might think of it as cut and dry. So it's hard, it's already difficult enough. Why are we worried about ethics? But this is a new initiative that a few people more people are becoming interested in. And I think I want to see how we could go in that direction in this context. So, what was the motivation to adapt assessment method for traditional mathematics course? We see that after a while, the normal or the usual, hey, take tests, take two tests, or do some quizzes, do homework, and do a final project or final exam, it becomes a little bit um, boring. So I was trying to look for something that will keep the students motivated. And I tried this during the pandemic. I know the pandemic is now something way far behind us, but this was when I decided to think of this method of assessment. So it started as an assessment. And then I have always been interested in making mathematics accessible to the general public. And I have wanted I'm somebody that's interested in keeping on with the latest trends in technology, especially when I'm teaching. All right, so the course was a course that I taught in the spring of 2021, and it's a regular ODEs course, whose learning outcome involves mathematical modeling through differential equations, not hands-on modeling, but just talk about how differential equations arise from modeling. We talked about first order and second order differential equations. Talked about other methods for the second order for solving differential equations like Laplace transform and so forth. So it's a regular ODEs course, and we use the textbook by Zeal. Sorry. And the enrollment was 56 students over 2 sections. So the assessment is like that of a regular, sorry, I want to minimize something too. Okay, good. That of a regular ODEs course. Um, Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I want you guys to see me. I don't know, to see what I look like. So it's a regular ODEs course that involved homework, quizzes, midterm, and a final exam. But in addition to the final exam, to make up for the final exam, I also give them a final project. I gave during this the course of the semester, I gave them 2 term projects to introduce them to how to model with ODEs. And then I also asked them, I taught them how to do ODEs that involve with hands-on modeling. And then I asked them, part of their final exam is to do a final project for the general audience. Okay. And this, I encourage them to use material based on Simiod, a Simiod modeling scenario that I'm thinking most of us are very familiar with. Okay. So I won't spend too much time on the term project that I asked them to do. I will just run through it, and then I will now talk about my reflection, the final project, the kind of project they ended up doing, and my reflections about it. So the first term project was a project I chose because it's a walkthrough of the detailed derivation of basic exponential and logistic population model and how to create variations of these models and explorations and visualizations of the models using MATLAB. And I chose it also because it encapsulates all the different methods or all the different variations of first order differential equations and talks about nonlinear differential equations and homogeneous differential equations. So it's like an encapsulating project for first order differential equations and all the different techniques and all the different terminologies that arrive and categorizations of first order differential equations. Okay, and then I gave them well, I'm not going to go through this. That's the project. Then I gave them, over the course of the semester, I gave them a second project that involves modeling car suspension. And again, this is a project that goes deep into a second order differential equations and captures different variations and different varieties of second order differential equations. So I thought those 2 projects are a good project, a good set of projects that captures that attempt to capture almost everything that the course is about: first order differential equations and second order differential equations, the major part of the project, the course. And then for the final project, I told them, now that you've learned how to use Simiod to discuss differential equations from a modeling perspective, I want you to go ahead and explore a phenomenon that can be explained using differential equations. That's the goal of this project for a general audience. And then the part should involve a good introduction and background, a mathematical exploration, and conclusion. And then, but the major rule is that your target should be a high school student. And your job is to teach this high school student without intimidating the high school student. And the product should be, your product should be a 20-minute video recording of your presentation uploaded on YouTube. Okay. So, and they did. And I have the project in a playlist on YouTube. And I am going to share that later on. I don't want to play any of them. You can explore the project at your own convenience. So I ended up having about 10 projects. Some of them are repeats because I have 2 sections of the course. So some of them, they ended up doing each 2 different groups from 2 different sections, ended up picking the same project. And they were also allowed to pick a project or to pick a topic from something outside of Simiod. right? So it wasn't just like an advertisement for Simio, for Simio. It was just because Simio gave us a good foundation to start. And we said, okay, well, you can choose more projects from Simio or you can choose your own project. But almost all of them ended up choosing Simio and uploaded it. Okay, so I'm more interested in telling you, talking about the reflections. To do that, I want to talk about some of the audience feedback. So what happened was that they uploaded their projects and their classmates have to go watch the projects, and I also made them invite other students from the college, both STEM and non-STEM students, both math and non-math students, to go ahead and look at and watch this video audience, and to give comments, ask questions about these topics that were explored using using differential equations. And the main way of commenting or asking questions was just through the YouTube video. Leave a comment and the presenters should answer the comment if it were a question. All right. So I just randomly pulled some comments. So one of them, this is a project on evaporation of alcohol, modeling it using differential equations. And one of the students says, I thought I understood evaporation in simple biological terms, but looking at it mathematically and modeling its rate was super interesting. I would definitely like to learn more about it and the different ways to apply this, even relating back to biology. For example, something like evaporation of sweat and how it cools us down. So, I chose this topic because this is a student that was not in the class. And then another student, this is modeling internet platforms. Another student said, this was a very captivating topic for me since I've always wanted to be introduced to cryptocurrency. I liked how you explained Bitcoin in detail to introduce the topic. You did a good job explaining how modeling the differential equations can be used to observe internet platforms. Especially, I liked the odd system where you got the eigenvalues to be complex numbers and fixed point became spiral. And then you connected it to the outcome for buyers and sellers. The first portrait looks fascinating. Overall, the presentation was organized and easy to follow. I'm excited to learn more about this. Anyway, so I picked all of these because some of them, most of the ones I picked were not in the class. So it kind of gave me where to stand in terms of the reception of these presentations by my students. So now the students that did this project, I also polled them and asked them questions. And I asked them, how did the project help your understanding of differential equations? I did a word cloud, which I don't think it's that that interesting because I was trying to see if some words would pop up. But you will see that there are some words that, I mean, of course, the word differential equations would be a lot. The word projects would be a lot if you do a word cloud. But then you see something like helped is a word that kept popping up. Real world is a word that kept popping up. But now let me give, this is a random response that I picked. And it says, the project helped my understanding of differential equations by showing me how differential equations can be used in all parts of life. This was something that was explained to us, but I never really considered how those differential equations would be used in the real world. Watching the projects and seeing how the topics were so different and differential equations were still useful in them showed me that even in areas where you wouldn't expect differential equations to be used, they are still useful. For example, snails in tide pool. So another question I now asked is, what do you like about the project? And one student said, the only thing that I did, oh, what did you not like? Sorry, what did you not like? The only thing I did not like about the project was the short amount of time we were given to approach this task and explore it. I wish we had more time to on it to grasp and analyze it better. Also, to be creative and incorporate our imagination and knowledge of mathematics into the project. So, and I take full blame for that because I kind of wanted, I was ambitious. I thought I could do um, two midterm exams, a final exam, and still two projects and still this project. So it left doing all those things left limited time for this. And if I do it again, I would give more time to it, knowing that the students were receptive to it. I would allocate more time to it and maybe even start from the beginning of the semester for them to have time to keep asking me questions and me providing feedback to them so that everything, all the projects, the result of the project will be more fine-tuned. Okay, so I asked, are there any helpful experiences you gained from working on the final project? And a typical answer is this. Overall, the presentation aspect was really helpful because it has you put yourself out there. The feedback from other people on how you did was motivating, and seeing everyone else work to compare how you could do better in the future was thought-provoking. It's good practice because you're going to have to be making a lot of presentations in college and work career, and this is just a step towards getting better. So my takeaway after the students, I reflected, and these are some of my takeaways. I saw that students, when I gave them this project that seemed like it's fun, and at the same time, you're putting them more in charge because you're telling them that, hey, this is for the general public. You're going to put your work out there for people outside of Manhattan College to see, people outside of this classroom to see and judge you. I see that students now they showed ability to synthesize the multiple facets of mathematics that they had learned before. What do I mean? I mean that these students in a differential equations class, I see them using stuff they learned in Calc 3, stuff they learned in Calc 1, and they were using it seamlessly because they want to do the best job in presenting this product that they have. We want to do a good job in presenting it to the general public. Another thing I saw is that the students showed a great deal of interest in the non-ODE parts of the project. The students, they became very interested. Some of them became very interested in the science of what they are talking about, and they went deep into it, which even though we're in a mathematics ODE classroom, I thought that was interesting. And I thought that was a win in a way. That was, okay, yes, math is everywhere, and math is supposed to be a tool to go into what you find interesting. So, and I thought that was a good thing. And I saw that non-math majors showed a lot of interest in the videos. Yeah, most of the people that commented were non-math majors, and I thought that was a good thing because sometimes we're just in our bubble and we're teaching students um, what we're teaching them with the mindset of, okay, these are students who love mathematics. These are students who are, even if they're not math majors, they're engineering majors. But I see psychology majors watching the videos, sending me emails or meeting me, seeing me on the road and saying, oh, watch your students' videos and this is good. We like it and we learn from it. Yeah. So next time I will give more time and I would make them do a mid project submission and get feedback so that they'll get feedback from me in order to fine tune some of the videos because some of them the mathematics um, was good, but there was some parts that needed to be fine tuned to more details to be added for it to be completely correct. All right, now after doing this a year ago, I started becoming interested in ethics, framing ethical reasoning in mathematics. So the material I collected from this project, I thought it would make a good uh, uh, um, a good foundation or a good place to start thinking of ethical reasoning when it comes to um, connecting to the general public, when it comes to teaching the general public what we do as mathematicians, you know. So I came up with 4 questions. One is, if I'm going to do this project, or if anybody's going to execute this kind of project, the first question should be, does the project tackle at least one learning outcome, one objective of the course, right? Does the project pose an ethical reasoning challenge? So, in as much as we want to educate the general public, if we need it to also be in the context of the course so that we are not drifting away too much from what we've discussed in the course. Because in that sense, if we say, okay, this is a differential equations course, and these are the topics we've discussed, but you feel free to take any topic, pick Green's theorem when you did not even do Green's theorem, for instance. You're already creating a scenario where the student may not be able to do a good job presenting that topic to the general public. And it would be good if the project can pose an ethical reasoning question. So what do I mean by that? So for instance, if the student is going to model, is going to do a project that involves modeling or creating a road around the habitat of bees, you know. So it would be good to help the student frame questions like, hey, how is this road going to be modeled in such a way that it does not destroy this habitat? And what if we really need to destroy this habitat? Or what if we really need a road from point A to point B? Who are the stakeholders, right? If the community needs a road, but that they need to get from point A to point B every day of their life, there are some people who would be for destroying the habitat. Some other people will be like, hey, we can't destroy this bee habitat, just to create a road. So it poses this challenge to the students. We want to see how they challenge it. I feel like that is something that will attract the general public more in what we do. Another question is, does the
Sorry for
project...
interrupting. We are like 25 minutes into the talk. Just want to give you a quick reminder. We still have time. Thank you.
Okay, how many more minutes do I have? Like 5 minutes?
Technically 5 minutes, yes,
Okay,
but
I'm
I
almost
need to
done.
move on. Mhm.
All right. Does the project adhere to the ethical standards of any related fields? So, for instance, one of the projects involving modeling IDEs um, by the military. So it would be good if the students also learn or get themselves familiar with the ethical standards involved in such engineering. They wouldn't just be modeling and ignoring what such an engineer who is involved in such a thing, the ethical thing they have to contend with. I feel like this gives us a good project, a good platform to also communicate to the public and showcase what we do as mathematicians. Another question is, does the project effectively and sensitively, address the interest position of each stakeholders? I've talked about something like that. So if you have, for instance, the case of modeling a road around the bee habitat, do you put into consideration the stakeholders who would be the people who want a road versus the people who don't want the bee habitat to be destroyed with sound from the vehicles passing through there, or by just completely getting rid of the habitat. Another question is just, are enough resources devoted to addressing follow-up questions from the general public? So if we're going to put videos on YouTube for general public to consume, have we created enough time to answer their questions, to follow up on different kind of questions they might have? If they want to visit our college, for instance, our university, uh, are there avenues for them to do that, to learn more from us, or to even let it be online or something like that? I feel like that is a good a good thing to be mindful of. So I think I'm done. I'm open for questions. I just want to give a shout out to Brian Winkle for Simeod and his mentorship. And then my Manhattan College colleagues and my spring 2021 differential equation students at Manhattan College.